So today I want to talk about the Caesar Cipher. The Caesar Cipher is my second favorite way to encode a message. Basically, all you're going to do is just shift the alphabet over however many spots you want. So A could become B, and B could become C, and so on. You can make it more complex if you wanted A to equal M and B to equal N. It's up to you as to how you'd like to shift it or what level you'd like to shift it. Now, the Caesar Cipher works really, really well because it's really easy to crack, which I know kind of goes against the whole idea of encryption, but if you're building an adventure for somebody that's going to end in a marriage proposal or a surprise party or something where time is kind of specific, you don't want to make something that's too difficult, because then all your friends and family are waiting to surprise them at their favorite bar or at a friend's house, and they're standing in the middle of a park with a book full of numbers running 3 hours behind, and the whole day is kind of ruined. I'm going to give you my two favorite uses for the Caesar Cipher. The first one is to keep people from being able to brute force an answer. So the term brute force when it comes to alternate reality games and puzzle hunts is figuring out something faster than it should be figured out in a different, unique way. So here's a great example is, say I wanted to give somebody a message and I wanted to break it up into three parts. They had to find all three of these pieces. In this case, I have my three parts, and it says check the red tome inside the rare book room at Powell's bookstore. Now, assume maybe he finds these two things first. Check the red tome inside the rare book room. If they live in Portland, they might understand that Powell's bookstore is the only place with a rare book room. And now they've found two of the three pieces, and they don't need to bother finding the third one. They can move on to the next spot. Now let's take that same thing and encode it with the Caesar Cipher. Now the puzzle becomes not only finding all of these, but then decoding the message. So no matter what, even if they have this, they still don't have the answer. They need all three. And the third one's sure going to help them decode that message. Also, what you can end up doing is you can have the next step be, this is how you decode the message. So really, Caesar Cipher is a great way where you can protect all of your ideas. So you don't spend a ton of time figuring out three great places to hide three little sheets of paper, and then now you've spent all this time and they've figured it out with just two sheets of paper. So that's the purpose behind using a Caesar Cipher or other ciphers to keep somebody from being able to brute force something. My second way that I like using the Caesar Cipher is with a longer piece of information, a longer message, because it gives them that opportunity to figure it out in an unconventional way, where maybe they see a couple of the same words. The is a good example. Oftentimes, if you're going to write a paragraph, the word the is going to be all over that paragraph. And they can start to see like, those three letters appeared here, here, and here. That might be the, and they can start trying to test it out. All right, perfect. Let's assume that's a T, that's an H, that's an E. And then they can plug it in and start to kind of figure it out by context. So it allows your player to beat this little puzzle in a unique way, and that's okay. You want them to beat it in fun, unique ways. The caveat, don't make it a super long piece of text, because then you start entering into the world of tedium, where they get to the point where like, all right, I figured it out. I just don't want to do it anymore. Like, I'm halfway through. Like, I just want to know the answer. I don't want to keep shifting and going through this. Please just let me know what it is. Because remember, it's fine to be challenging. You want them to beat this challenge, and you want them to have fun. The goal of them is to have fun and overcome these obstacles, but not ever get caught in like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what this means. I'm just stuck. Or like, I know what to do. I just don't want to do it anymore. So to recap, Caesar Cipher works really, really well if you want to make sure your player can't brute force a piece of information. So if they're just trying to find one password, right, one thing, but you need to make sure they find every single letter, tapping it all off with a Caesar Cipher at the end is going to make that work. It's going to make it work without them being able to brute force it. And then the second thing is you could just take a message and encrypt it, And depending on the level of challenge you want to have, you could either just straight up encrypt it, have them figure it out, or you could give them the instructions, or maybe the midway point. Let them know what a Caesar cipher is, but they don't know how far they need to shift it. That becomes trial and error. That can be tedious, so play test it before you try it out. Know the person that you're going to be doing this adventure for. And remember to make this thing fun. I do have another quick hit video, which is just a simple way to encode. No frills, no opinion, nothing. So if you just want to look to a way to encode, it shows some simple ways to do that. For the people that are subscribed to my Patreon, I also whipped up a little Caesar Cipher wheel that you can put together. It basically, you print it out, cut it up, and then you can shift this over. And so if you want, you can give it to your player. It works really well with kids to give them that visual of, okay, perfect, A now equals C, and so then all they have to do is line up A and C, and they can realize that D equals F, and it makes it a little bit easier for them to be able to decode, and it gives them something tangible to work with. So if you do want to support, or if you want this sweet little printout, you can always head over and subscribe to my Patreon. If you have any questions further, or you want me to cover a different style of encryption, or have an idea but you just need a little bit of help working through the pros and the cons, don't hesitate to write a comment. I love to hear what you want to know about, and I'm happy to take a deep dive into what works and what doesn't. My end game goal is to make sure that when you want to build some type of adventure or some little puzzly hunt for somebody, that the whole thing doesn't train wreck. And so the goal of these is to make sure that you feel comfortable and confident, and you've figured out, you know, this is what you want to do. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And until next time, happy adventuring.